This is the Live Well and Thrive podcast, hosted by Michael Torsha, health and wellness expert. It's time to shape up, America.
We've got a verdict.
Breaking news, a verdict has been reached in Donald Trump's criminal hush money trial.
Whether or not they were focusing on Trump's entourage, it's hard to tell. I will say, just as an observer in the courtroom, the entourage today is colorful.
You know, if you look at the entourage today, you see Alan Dershowitz, you see Chuck Zito, the former president of the Hells Angels.
Hi, it's Mike Torsha, and welcome to Live Well and Thrive. I've got a really great guest today, Dominique Milano. He directed and produced Chuck Zito's documentary, which is now to the festivals and hopefully will be in the theaters soon. Dominic, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. What a pleasure.
Pleasure to have you. I mean, I've seen the documentary a few times. I saw the latest cut. I am blown away. It's so much better than the first one we saw at the Beverly Hills Film Festival.
Thank you so much for saying that. We put a lot of work into it. We added about 20 more minutes after the festival. Chuck wanted to expand a little bit certain areas of the documentary, and it was time well spent. It was fun,
and of
too.
course, the big part was Donald Trump opens the documentary, which that in itself is a feat.
This is the beauty of doing a documentary. You know, when you do a documentary, you have a lot of ways of improving it. When you do a feature film, it's locked. You shoot it, and you're not going to add anything else. I mean, it's done. And so when we got the honor to have President Trump in the documentary, that changed everything. We spoke about it, and our editor, Ryan, who's like a really good editor, probably one of the best I worked with, he said, you know what? We've got to open with the president.
It was powerful.
It was powerful, yes.
It was inspirational.
Yes.
And it was very emotional, like roller coaster ride, because you're feeling Chuck, what he went through, and then elated to see where he is now.
Yes,
and he still has his loving family by his side and supporting him. And just to hear all those people share such wonderful experiences and stories with Chuck, it was just heartwarming.
Yeah, there's some moments that I have moments that I like more than others. And there's certainly some really big celebrities who shared some really nice information about him.
I guess I was at pretty much the height of my popularity, so they overdid it, with security. So, at the time, whoever was in charge of security said, oh, well, we need more people. And then Chuck and a few of his friends volunteered. And being a very outgoing guy, he struck up a conversation. I noticed, we kind of looked like very similar, like brothers.
I must have met him, hanging out in New York, along the way. But the first time we really, really, really got tight was we were both on a red eye going from Burbank to back home in New York. And so we basically hung out prior to the flight, hung out during the flight. He gave me his memoir that he had just published. And by the time we landed, I knew this is a guy I'm going to be friends with. Ends up working on 3/4 of a season of Sons of Anarchy, which was phenomenal. That's where we really, really got to know each other. And I mean, we're a bunch of actors doing a show about bikers. It was a little embarrassing, having the real guy sitting there going, this is not how it fucking works.
And the one that actually was for me that stood out was James Caan.
God bless his soul.
I saw something about James Caan that day that was so cool. First of all, it was such an honor to be interviewing him. It's like, it's a monument. You watch him in Godfather and all those big movies, Rollerball and all that. Then you have it in front of you, and it's like, wow, it's James Caan, and you can, you're a little bit nervous, but then, he makes you comfortable and all that. But there's something that was really cool is I saw Chuck helping James Caan getting off the chair and sitting down the chair because James Caan, he told us that he was doing rodeo when he was younger, and in his late age, he had a hip problem, so he needed help to, he has help obviously where he lives, but Chuck was right there. Hey, let me help you out. Let me do this. Let me do that. So I said, oh man, if I could have tilted my camera and just shoot those moments with him and James Caan interacting, like two really strong friends. It would have been great on top of the interview, but I didn't want to bother them.
Yeah, Jimmy and I were very dear friends, and he shared with me about the rodeo that he was, how many bones he broke.
Yes.
If you notice later on, he had this posture of walking like this with a very
stiff
back. And I remember before he passed away, he was coming into Gold's Gym in a wheelchair with the oxygen mask.
Oh.
And working out. He said, I'm going to do this to the day I die.
Wow.
And what amazing. A beautiful soul. But I know Jimmy and Chuck had a very, very special, close relationship. And I wish I could have seen that footage. That would have been so touching.
I would have loved to film it. And I just, I don't like to go over what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
I came here for an interview, to interview James Caan. I had my little list of questions. But I would have wished to catch that moment, because this is what, sometime and most of the time, I believe, is what you don't see, what you don't say, that actually shows the better image. And Chuck helping James Caan, sitting down on his chair, and then when we were done, he put him in his wheelchair. Now, he had his assistant there, but Chuck wanted to do it himself.
That's Chuck.
And he said, no, I'll take care of it. And then, after the interview, Mr. Jim, I'm going to say Mr. Caan, because it's like, I looked at all the beautiful Godfather pictures he has in the back behind his couch, and the karate stuff and all that. I said, oh my God, this is like, wow. I was like, this is unbelievable.
I mean, but that's what part of the film is, to see all these incredibly famous people that love and adored and respected Chuck.
Yes. That's
they saw the other side of him, because people think of him as this badass, tough guy, but he has this other side that's so wonderful. If you ever need him, he'll say to me, Mike, everything okay? Need anything? He's right there. Very few people are like that.
I agree. And sometimes, we spent a lot of time, me and him, doing this. We started this about 3 years ago. It's not like we did it in 3 months. We started, we stopped, we got back to it. And I started knowing him a little bit differently. He has his bad side, obviously, like every human being. He wants things to be done a certain way, and if it's not a certain way, then he's a little bit sometimes agitated. So it's a constant negotiation on how to get things done. But there's a good side of him, and that's what you just said as well. He's
he cares.
He cares. Yeah, he cares.
This is his story. I can see why he'd be so protective.
Yes, absolutely. So protective.
Yeah. As he moves on in life, he wants to know that people remember him in a certain way, not just one way, as being former Hell's Angel. You know what I mean? We go to the Richie Palmer's Mulberry Street here in Beverly Hills in Cannon.
He loves that place.
And and I could go there on a Saturday when he's in town. I know he's going to be there at 12:30.
Every time he comes in LA, he goes there, and there's always Frank Stallone and probably you also, and then there's also other guys. I always see the same guys.
It's funny. It's like a social club.
Yeah, he takes the same table and he sits down. And
it's so funny. He'll get the pizza, and when he's done having his pizza, he gets an ice cold glass of milk.
Oh, milk. Yes.
And a nice big piece of chocolate cake.
Yeah, chocolate
cake.
Richie
makes the best chocolate cake.
Yes. And he gets the meatballs also when he wants.
Oh, he had the meatballs too. But it's so funny. He's never drank, never did drugs, doesn't smoke. His vice is cake and ice cold milk, right? Think about it. Be in the Hells Angels for that long a period of time and never do any of that. That just shows you the power of his mind.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
But I'm sure, working with him was a challenge, but
Oh yeah.
a learning experience too.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's I'm younger than him, so there's a lot of stuff that I learned from him just on day-to-day things about cars and this and that. And yeah, I mean, like I said, he has his good side, and he also has like every human being, you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't like when you challenge him on certain things. And my job as the director is I gotta put together a documentary. I can't just put a highlight reel of everything that you've done so well. I understand you do need to have a story, and a lot of challenges for me was, okay, we got that part, Chuck, we got it. It's the same thing 3-4 times over and over. Let's get something else. Let's develop your wife and daughter piece, and let's talk a little bit more about the arrest and the Hells Angels. Not that I want to advertise that; it's already public domain. But at least you keep your audience engaged. You have a balanced documentary. You do all the stuff that you like, but you also have to show things that you may not like or you may not want to talk about, but that's what a documentary is about. It's got to be kind of, fair, like, balanced and fair. And that's where the challenges was with him, because put more of this, show my cars, show me this.
Well, I mean, he does build beautiful motorcycles and cars.
Yes.
I mean, they're pieces of art.
Yes.
And they're classics. And like my guest earlier, Fabio likes exotics. Chucky likes the old school, cars, which I love too.
Well, they're the best.
And but just the fact that he is so skilled at design and mechanics, But again, here's a guy he's a brilliant guy, and he has street sense. So it's, the combination of both is incredible.
Oh man, I have a funny story about cars. I scraped my car just a little bit on the side, and he's kind of a perfectionist with cars. He likes the thing like perfect, neat, and everything. And he said, "Well, you're not gonna fix this?" I said, "I'll fix it later. I don't want to fix it now." He said, "Let me take care of it." I don't know what he did. He just like buffed something. He used something from what he had, buffed it a little bit, and the scratch was gone.
So there's a
All
way,
gone.
because I've had that before. I had, unfortunately, got a scrape on it was my Lamborghini Aventador.
Oh, wow. That's
and I was so upset.
Oh, yeah.
So I went to this exotic body shop, specialized in exotic cars, and they took a power sander with color.
Mm-hmm.
They matched the color. So what they do is they sand it, and as it sands it down, it fills in a scratch.
Oh, okay.
So it's called color
Wow.
buffing,
Wow.
where it doesn't take off too much, but
fills
heats
it.
it up, and then the color seals that scratch.
Wow.
So most likely it was
Yeah,
that.
that's what he said. I take care of it. Don't worry. I said, but Chuck, we have no. We're
But most people wouldn't know.
I know.
That it's a simple thing.
We had lunch at Mel's Diner in Sherman Oaks, and he saw the scratch. I'll take care of it now. He goes to his car. He was driving Russell's car,
Russell, yeah.
and inside Russell's car, he was actually fixing Russell's car as well. So he took some of the thing that he bought for Russell's car. He comes to my side, like to me, I say, "What the hell did you do?" And I say, "Let it dry. Don't worry. Tomorrow the scratch is gone."
Yeah.
Tomorrow in the morning, the scratch was gone. I said, "Well, Chuck, you just saved me the $250 on the car."
So now, how did you meet Chuck? How did this all happen?
So I met Chuck. I was doing the Michael Madsen documentary. That was the documentary I was doing before Chuck. And Chuck is in the documentary. He participated, because he knows Michael Madsen very well. So, I interviewed Chuck for the documentary. And nothing, it was a great interview. I used it for the doc. It's right there. And, I called him. I said, "Hey, I'm doing the Chinese theater premiere for the documentary. Why don't you come by? And that way you can watch the documentary. We're all gonna watch it. It ended up being a nice premiere. It was like almost the big downstairs Chinese theater, right? The big one. We were the only show in town, so we ended up having a lot of people coming. And Chuck watched the documentary. He liked it. He said, "Oh man, I'm also doing my own documentary, but I'm struggling with it. I got a lot of interviews. I don't have a real story about it. I need somebody to help me finish it." And and I say, Chuck, I'm interested. And who do you have? He said, oh, I got John Travolta in it. People that, not John Travolta, Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, right.
And John Travolta is Michael Madsen documentary, Stallone and all that. So he gave me all this footage, and then I go, wow, that's pretty good. And then I say, are you kidding me? I'm doing it right away. I mean, and that was it.
That's fantastic. Well, I'm
Yeah.
so glad you got it done. So is it going to the festivals now? Are you doing that circuit? What's going on with it?
Right now, Chuck decides that he wants to fix it a little bit more.
Okay.
So for the time being, it's not going to go to festivals. But I think in about a month or two, we're going to start deciding where we want to push it and all that.
Right. Good. That's
And
fantastic.
and hopefully, we'll get it done properly and in a good way.
That's great. So now, what's next for you?
I don't know. I mean, I'm very passionate about documentaries. So whatever comes in, I'll be happy to evaluate and do something. I like cars. I liked a lot of documentaries about cars could be fun. Another celebrity could be also fun. Anything that brings an element to something new that people can see a different eyes. That sounds interesting to me. I will do it. I do stuff by passion, not really for commercial aspect. Even if, of course, you need to make the money for it.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like you can bring a beautiful story on screen.
Yes.
But then you go to the distributors and they're like, well, who's in it?
Yes, exactly.
Then you got to deal with the domestic and international values and all that. I just wish there would be more networks that would say, let's just base it on the quality of the story instead of, oh, this person gets this much in domestically and that. Because sometimes there's a beautiful story you could talk about someone that has a very relevant life, but nobody ever heard of them. And it's sad that they're always basing on who you're putting in there instead of what it's all about.
I totally agree with you. And unfortunately, there is disconnect between distribution, buyers, and art. And, you do a project and the first thing a distributor tells you, oh, who's in it? Who's in it?
Yeah.
Why you don't want to know about the project? Why you want to know who's in the project first? Why don't you ask about what's the project about? And there's a lot of stuff that I've learned about distribution that as I went through and I struggled with it. And it's a complete different animal in terms of filmmaking by itself. It's the business aspect. That is complicated.
There have been movies where I didn't even know any of the actors and they were sensational.
Yes.
So I think eventually there's a lot of new streaming platforms that are more concerned about a relevant story that inspires someone after watching it. My friend Josh Michello and my cousin Frank Torsha, they did Men You Don't Know, Trump's documentary.
Oh, yeah.
The Scott Lebedo, The Relentless Patriot.
Yeah.
And, they put Trump's documentary on X.
Yes.
They've had over 85 million people watch it.
Oh, are you kidding? Wow, that's insane.
So, and when they had it released,
wow.
It was only in theaters 3 weeks because the theaters didn't want Trump's documentary out there, which was another thing
another
that's
story,
unfortunate.
Unfortunately,
right?
why did they mix politics and entertainment and all that? Who cares?
But they, Elon Musk said put it on X.
Yeah,
and now I think it's probably well over 100 million people have seen it. Because I think for a filmmaker, you want as many people to watch it.
Yes.
Put aside, you'd like to get your money back. You'd like to make a profit. But being a filmmaker, I would be more concerned that people actually saw my story and enjoyed it. And if there was monetary gain, great. But it's an art form. To me,
Yes.
I've done a few films and I've been fortunate. They've been doing very well. I had a movie I produced recently, The Cleaner, with Clive Owen.
Oh, wow.
Daisy Ridley and Martin Campbell, who directed two of the biggest grossing James Bond movies. It was a $27 million movie. I raised the money for it to have it made, and I was an EP on it. And it's in the theaters now. It's doing exceptionally well. that was a commercial film.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
it's not something I'm like, oh my God, it's such a passionate story. It's a female lead. The woman's a window cleaner. Backstory: she was a former special forces. It takes place in the Shard building in London, the beautiful skyscraper there, and Clive comes to take over the building and holding people hostage. And she goes into action and kicks ass just like Bruce Willis did in Die Hard.
In Die Hard. So,
Because-
okay. Well,
Because every buyer, what I call Netflix, Apple, so on, you know what they want? Female lead movies, female lead series, okay?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, really? So we made it a female lead. It was actually going to be a male. We made it female, and everybody wanted it. We got a full international release.
uh-huh.
But because it was a female lead, and of course, because Daisy, she was known for Star Wars, and I mean, the cast was great, and the director was amazing, but they wanted a female lead. I mean, whether it's a male or female, who cares?
It's
So there's
the
a good
story. It's
story.
the story that counts. Yeah, I totally agree with you. And that's the aspect of the business. They have people evaluating things and think, oh, well, if we do this thing, it'll be better for the sales. And it's not anymore an art form. And
Well, I
you know.
decided that I'm going to make a change. Ron Perlman is a dear friend of mine,
uh-huh.
and we're rolling out a studio called Asylum.
Nice name.
And we kind of say that the inmates take over, means the filmmakers take over. And when we make a movie or TV show, everybody gets residuals.
Wow.
The makeup girl, the hair, the grip, the sound guy. You don't just get paid for the work.
Yes.
Because it took a village to make the
Yes,
movie.
to make
So
the
we're going to
movie.
have more of a universal compensation that everybody will get royalties. It shouldn't be just the producers and the director and the actors. What about all these other people that were there day and night working their butts off, right? So, and then we're partnering up with a studio that's breaking ground in a few months in New Jersey. It's a 200-acre studio. It's going to have a whole complex and plaza, restaurants, health club, 29 sound stages. It's going to be amazing. So we're going to have Asylum as the West Coast
Wow.
extension. In New Jersey, we have this other, I can't say yet the name, but we'll be announcing it. So I'm involved with both because I said, you know what? I need to break this crap. I'm tired of people telling us what we need to make.
Need to
We're going to make what we
What?
think is quality content. You want it, we'll find somebody else.
Yes.
And we have to, we'll launch our own streaming platform.
Yeah, plus that's the beauty, the game changer is the streaming platform because, before as a filmmaker, you make your product and if nobody takes it, well, you end up with your DVD in a drawer. Now with the streaming platform, you can have an aggregator and set up an account
Yeah.
and it's out there. It's in iTunes and
That's
and
it.
all
And,
those things.
and a lot of the ad-based platforms will give you, 30%. They'll take 30%, but you take 70%
Absolutely.
of the profit.
Yeah, and it exists.
Right.
Yeah.
And it can go on forever and
Yeah.
ever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
So that's the direction I think a lot of platforms are going. Ad-based, because then there's a revenue share, and you actually can make money.
Yes.
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 Because that's, of course, what you ultimately have to do.
Yes, to survive. You have
Otherwise,
to,
what are
you
your
have to have
investors going to do?
income. Yeah, absolutely.
They put money out. If you're not making them money, the well's going to dry up.
Yes, absolutely.
So I felt I needed to bring people together, and we need to make a change.
Yeah.
So that's probably within a few months you'll hear in the trades, all things. And I want to bring you in to bring us content because we're going to fund. And we're going to fund content.
Absolutely.
We're going to have a fund for quality content. People like you that have this vision.
Thank
and
you.
we wanted to come on the screen and people able to go, wow, what a beautiful story.
Beautiful story and really, work hard and making quality stuff. I mean, because at the end of the day, you have to work hard to do something, to put something out that's quality. You're taking time of people to watch something. You have to honor them with something good. I mean, it's easy to make a bad film. Anybody can do that, It's hard to do something decent.
Well, I got to say, during the strike, these platforms bought so many horrible films and TV series. And with notable actors. And I was like, oh my God, there was so much bad content, I'd lucky if I keep watching it for more than 10, 12
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah,
I
yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
bear it. And
Yeah.
they had known actors, and I just said to myself, why would they take on this role? What a terrible character. You could tell their heart's not into it, you know. So I want to be around people that only will do quality projects,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
and base it on the script.
Yeah, and again, you know, you nailed it right there. With everything changed with that COVID thing, a lot of things couldn't be finished. A lot of products ended up being pushed out without being really fully finished. And yeah, there's been like a certain amount of time where there were like some really bad stuff out there. I couldn't
Yeah.
even count a good movie that I've seen in a while, and then I don't think I can count one or two good movies for those 2-3 years.
Yeah, well, I
around
gotta
that time.
say, one of the series that I really enjoyed was Shogun.
Shogun.
Yeah, it's something that just came out
Okay.
last year. Wonderful. It's about the Japanese when they had the gangs and they had the different families and what it was like in the very beginning. It tells beautiful stories, and the acting is wonderful, and the writing is beautiful, and all these beautiful parts of Japan. Yeah, it's just gorgeous. But I just think that when I see things like that and other series that are beautiful, like Landman with Billy Bob Thornton.
I heard about that one. I didn't see that one.
Sensational cast, great writing. Billy Bob's, he's an amazing actor.
Yeah,
You
great
know,
actor.
so there are a lot of things out there that are now
Yeah.
just coming together. There's a show called Paradise.
Uh-huh.
Wonderful, wonderful,
yeah.
wonderful series. Very intriguing, very futuristic. Makes you think what could happen in the future
Oh, wow.
with
Paradise.
technology and also with.
I saw something on Apple TV that I kind of liked. It's the Silo thing. Silo.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was
yeah.
pretty cool, actually. I started watching it. It was.
I haven't seen it, but I heard
yeah,
it's pretty.
I started watching it a month ago, and I did like it. So there is definitely out there some content that is actually good, and you know, that's good for the business because yeah, you're not gonna get everything good, obviously, like everything
Yeah.
in life, you know. But at least if you can have some good amount of good content, then you balance it, and then you can enjoy good entertainment.
So now, do you think you'll be doing any actual scripted?
I would.
films?
That's what I wanted to start with originally. You know, in the business, I did a couple of films, but then I started liking more doing documentaries because it's a pace that I enjoy more. It's less stressful. You can take a break.
Right.
You know, you can go back to it. You can get more inspired on certain things. And you know, it's a pace that I enjoy more than the format of making a feature film, which let's call it also. Let's make it. Let's say it's more prestigious to make a feature film than a
Sure.
documentary. It's a different thing, but I do like the documentary world. I kind of like it. I watch a lot of them, even if good or bad. I was watching one 2 days ago, the Niki Lauda documentary. That's what your guest Fabio was talking about,
Yeah.
that circuit in Germany.
Yeah.
And they were talking about how he got his accident there. And it was a great documentary about the way Niki Lauda was into his cars and into all. So I find documentary very, very fascinating. And I start to like them more and more. Now, of course, if I get the opportunity to do a feature film, of course, who wouldn't turn this down, you know?
Well, I have to say, Chuck has some incredible projects. He's a very good writer. I don't know if people know this, but he actually
Oh, yeah.
can write beautifully, you know, and he has everything he has is like uplifting. You know, it's like he has I think it was called Street Justice.
Yeah, that's
know?
the thing he's trying to make. And I think, and I don't want to say anything positive, negative about anybody because I'm who I am to judge. But I think maybe Chuck should also trust a little bit more the creative process and the way things are done sometimes. Because if you're trying to do everything yourself and be hands-on on everything from A to Z, that could also be a problem by associating yourself with other people that don't work that way. So it's hard to find $5 million or $10 million to make street justice.
Right,
You're
yeah.
gonna have to partner with people, that they're gonna give you the money, but they're gonna want it to have some control over this and that. And
Well,
if-
I explain that to people. If someone comes in with money, they have every right to be part of the
Yes,
process.
yes. And if you cut this process down to you being the only person that actually can decide from A to Z to the development of the project, you can have problem raising funds. And I spoke to him about that a lot on the documentary. Say, this is a partnership. Let's do it together. I'm gonna acknowledge what you like. Let me and acknowledge what I want to put in as well. And we found a way to work it out. So I think if he does it a little bit more this way, there's definitely chances for him to raise a lot of money to do his movies.
Because, everybody, I know that I bring up his name.
Yes.
Absolutely love him.
Yes, absolutely.
And if something makes sense, I can't see why they wouldn't want to say, hey, let me jump in on that.
Let me jump in. He has Stallone as an executive producer. That's huge, But I never met Sylvester Stallone, but I can tell that Sylvester Stallone has probably a way of working, a certain way, and maybe Chuck works a certain way. And
well, yeah, Sly has a very unique way, but he is a very brilliant writer.
Yes.
And director. He understands the vision, like he's taking Tulsa King to a whole nother level.
Oh, wow, yeah.
He ran with, the concept of Taylor Sheridan, and then took it to. They're doing 3 and 4.
Yeah, wow. That's
currently
I gotta start that series very soon.
Great series. But just like with this show, I do the best I can as a host and inviting great guests like you.
Oh, thank you.
But you're welcome. But I don't know about social media marketing. And I have a whole team that just does that.
Yes.
Because I'm not good at that. You
know what?
This is my strength here. Personality's engaging. I have no idea what the keywords are, what the word should be, the tag, how long it should be, the thumbnail.
Yes.
The thumbnail is everything, right? I'm like, guys, here, you do it. You know this best. I know what I do best. And like I said, it takes a village, right?
Yes.
So I think once someone relinquishes that control and say, look, I'm not the best at editing. I'm not the best at this.
But I'm best at this.
At this.
Yes.
Stay in your lane, right?
And that's the main issues that we had sometime. We had wonderful time doing this. I'm just giving you a little, I like to balance it. I don't want to say, oh, great, everything is great. I like to give you something also on the other side. And that's exactly what you just said is so truth, because I was telling Chuck, I said, Chuck, don't take this wrong. You're not an editor. Ryan is an editor. Right. That's what he does for a living.
Right.
You're not a director. You may be a director, but you can't be director of your own documentary. Otherwise, it'll be biased. You're not gonna put stuff that only you want to have. So, you have to leave a little bit of how you call it, power. I don't know if it's power is the right word.
Well, you got to relinquish
something for the good, because that's not what you do best. But on the other hand, what you do best is bring people like the president, bring people like James Caan, bring people like you did with all the celebrities that you had. That's your strength.
From one phone call, you have all these
exactly.
people.
So,
wow.
So do that part. This is your part, but let us do our part.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with people who like to really control everything.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I don't know if it's a lack of trust or a lack of something else. I'm not a psychologist. But
you know what? Chuck is a very strong-minded man, and sometimes he has this idea in his head, and he stands behind it because he's a principled guy.
Yes.
And I just think sometimes, like a gentleman like you, that can get in his ear and say, "Look,
I did.
let us show you what we can do. Look at this."
Yes, and
then,
in a soft way.
In a soft way. But what you all did collectively,
yes,
from the one screening,
yes,
at the Beverly Hills Festival to the one I saw,
yes,
at the Chinese Theater,
yes,
again, was absolutely light years
yes,
better.
Yes,
quality, smooth. It wasn't repetitious.
Yes,
you added so much more, and then when you put in the opening with Trump,
yes,
and peppered him throughout the documentary, it just was more substantial.
Yeah.
So whatever you did worked.
Yes.
Because I could tell that he said yes.
Yes.
And-
Yes.
But that's just his dominating
Yeah,
personality.
that's his,
You know, don't take it personally.
No, no.
You know, but it's his baby, you know, so it's hard to say
Yes.
this. But
It-
you know what? It came out great.
Yes, yes, and to your point again, that's exactly what happened. He started trusting us more, and then he started like, okay, so all right, I'll let you open with Trump, because he had a different idea of how to open a documentary, and I say, no, this is the way we should open it. And when he saw it, he agreed.
Everybody
And,
was,
yeah.
when they said, wow, to see him opening it.
Yeah,
It
was
really made
great
it
opening,
powerful.
yeah.
You know, just like when you watch a movie that's supposed to be an action film,
Yeah.
20 minutes in, there's like all this dialogue.
Yes.
But when all of a sudden you see an action film right away, boom, 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 that's everybody's adrenaline was up with Trump there. That we're high throughout the whole time.
Yes, it's a good way to kickstart the project, and not in a way, especially with a guy like him. If you were doing something on somebody a bit softer, like a painter, a documentary of a painter, and you want to start maybe a soft way and
Right.
and show where he grew up first, and having drawing a little bit, then you start this way. But with the personality of Chuck, you got to start, you know. with
I gotta say, I mean, he really respects you and your whole team. When I told Chuck about that distributor that was interested, first thing he said, I have to speak to Dominic
Oh, thank you.
and my partners. So first thing he said
Yeah,
to me,
yeah.
which I love because he showed you respect.
Oh yeah, thank you. No,
So
no.
you know what I'm
he's-
saying? He didn't say,
yeah,
okay,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, so he probably maybe doesn't verbalize it,
Oh
but
yeah.
he admires your work and the whole rest of your team.
I think overall we did well, and same to me when people ask me, oh yeah, I can put this. Some people from France call me, oh I can put it in Netflix France. I say, listen, I appreciate the offer, and I'm very honored, but you know, let's I gotta talk to Chuck. Let's see
Yeah.
where the best platform is. But yeah, I mean, it is definitely a collaboration, and as a matter of fact, he's coming in town today or tomorrow. He wants to fix a couple of things that we noticed that, and yeah, I agree with him. There's a couple of areas that will be repetitive with the motorcycle gang part, so we're gonna trim it a little bit, and he wanted to add a couple of things. So,
Oh, good.
so okay, Chuck, but that's it, right? We
Yeah.
call it
No
we
more.
call it a final cut.
Yeah, so you can-
Otherwise,
you're
we're
gone
gonna
forever now.
we're never gonna end this thing.
Nah, you know, there's been times where when I would write things and then someone bring up something and I'll say, oh yeah. And then I come to the point where I got to stop because you're going to always improve upon it.
Yes, yes.
But sometimes it's good enough.
Yes, it's good. You have to accept at one point, as an artist, you have to say, you know what, you gotta let the thing fly. Sometimes it's hard to also let it go because it's your, as you say, that's his baby.
Yeah.
I want to keep making it better. There may be more interviews I can get. I said, Chuck, this, you know, it's time. You know.
Yeah, no, you got enough
You
interviews.
got enough.
You got a ton of star power.
You got enough there. People likes it. Let it go and let the world watch it, and
Yeah.
and you know, not just your friends and you know, a group of people coming to a theater, like 100 people, 200 people, 500 people. That's fine, but when it hits a platform, it could be like the other one. It could be millions of people watching it.
Yeah, exactly. You never know. Maybe,
They own it at that point.
you know, maybe Josh can help get it on X after a while, you know. Then you have hundreds of millions of people that could see, you know.
But it's made for people to watch. That's why you make the products. It's for the audience, not for your own personal enjoyment. Even if it's yours, you still have to.
Yeah.
You know, that's the point of this business.
Yeah, it certainly is. Well, I have to thank you for coming on. It
was an honor.
Absolute pleasure for me and an honor. And give my best to Chuck.
Sure. Well, he's probably gonna call you.
Yeah, he probably will. We'll probably hit.
Say, I did the Dominique thing. I say, yeah, we're good.
Yeah, no, I will. So, and then keep me in the loop of anything else you're doing. Once we launch the studio, I'll let you know.
Oh, absolutely.
About, you know, submitting anything you want to
Oh,
submit.
absolutely.
Because we're going to do docuseries. It's not limited to features. We're going to do everything.
Absolutely.
All we want is quality content.
I'll be honored to be part of a small part of it. I'll be honored to be part of it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for watching. You got to share this episode and learn about Chuck Zito's journey and his creation of this amazing documentary with Dominic and his other partners who've made this a magical, incredible story to watch. You've got to see it. So you look for it. What is the exact title, Dominic?
Chuck Zito, An American Story, produced by myself, Fabrice Sopolian, French producer, Ryan, who's the editor of it. And if I forgot somebody, I apologize, but those are the main people that worked on it.
Thank you. So watch. You'll see it pretty soon and probably hear about the announcement everywhere in the trades. But most of all, I thank you for watching the show. Please subscribe and share this episode. We need your support. Thank you.